I want to thank everybody for tuning to a special edition, Steel City Sports World. I'm your host, Luther Dupree, joined as always, Claudia Rosano, Smoking Jim Frazier. Make sure you give us a call or click the link and tap in with us. Great day. How you feel, Claudia?
Everything's good. Always glad to be on the show. Thank you.
Always. Smoking Jim, how you feel, man? How's that Obama phone treating you? We gonna get you on the StreamYard soon, man. Hey, again, it's a call-in, so if you want to, tap in for what we're doing, make sure you call in 412-530-5063, and we'll get you all tapped in. First, like we do all the time, we got our Claudio's Huddle Up. Claudia, what do you have for us today?
You can go back on any of our shows several years back, and I talk about hitting and play coverage and keeping close and head down the ball and extension. And finally, I heard John Wayner today say that Henry Davis, he's been hitting well because he's been getting play coverage. And he also talked about a drill that I've never seen before. I know I implement it, and that's actually letting go of the bat. Throwing the bat. When you throw the bat, you want to throw it towards the pitcher. Davis used to throw it towards third base. Wayner actually said, if you were to let go of the bat, if Davis were to let go of the bat, he would be throwing it up the middle. All hitters should be doing that, keeping close plate coverage. And it's back to Henry Davis. I said a long time ago that he was just a hair behind the ball, and they had him doing all this funky stuff, crouching down, when I said all they had to do was put the bat on his shoulder like Tim Foley used to do and load it and throw it. Now he's doing that. Claudio said that a long time ago. It took them a little while to figure it out, but they finally figured it out. I'm glad to hear it. But they should also implement those, I call them 4 sets of musts. Everything up the middle, stay close, fast hands, vision. If they implement that with the rest of the team, the Pirates are going to hit. That's it. And they've been hitting. They hit again today. They hit the other day. So maybe if they listen to OCR once in a while, things will be better. I'm not saying that they are listening to me, but they are doing things that I have said that they should implement.
Okay. I like that. All right, Smoker Jim, what you got for us?
Yeah, I think Drew, and I'd like for you and Claudio or the listening audience to comment throughout the show whether they think Henry Davis is the long-term future at catcher, and if you guys were the Pittsburgh Pirates, would you lock up Cruz right now or play it out over the next couple of days?
All right. What you gonna go with your first to 10, Jim?
That's it.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Well, Claudio, what you come up?
I know he said about Henry Davis. Definitely put him in. What have I said? Fix. If you're not going to buy a new car, fix up the one you have. They did draft him number 1, so obviously there are some tools there. He was just a little bit behind because the pitches are faster, they're sharper. There's more command from the pitchers. It's going to be tougher to hit. You have to make adjustments. Now, finally, he's made the proper adjustments, not just an adjustment, but the proper adjustment. His catching has improved. His glove-hand transition has been fantastic. I like him a lot. That stupid experiment to put him in the outfield was dumb. The guy has great, again, glove-hand transition. His pop time is probably in the 1.9s, which means from the catcher's glove to the second baseman, may even be a little bit less. So he's got the arm, he's got the glove. He's now able to hit. He can definitely make it as their catcher, the guy. And I think he mentioned Cruz. Did Jim mention Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I would sink a ton of money into him. Not physically. Physically, he has it. They can fit. He's only hitting 234. Everybody's making a big deal about him because he hit 129 or 120 a ball, exit velo 120. I don't give a damn about that. His batting average is 234. He hit a home run, I believe, today. He's got the physical tools. When you invest in a property, you don't just invest in the building. You invest in the land itself. You invest in the location. you invest in the total package. With a player, when you're going to invest a lot of money in that player, it's not just physically, it's his mental attitude. Not that he has a terrible attitude, but, I'd like to see him a little bit more into the games. I'd also like to see him physically do what he can do. Somebody on Facebook compared him to Dave Parker. Ridiculous. Dave Parker, nobody can ever say that they never saw him run out of ball. Dave Parker gave you everything he had. Plus, Dave Parker was one of the best in the game for years, and obviously he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if I would give Cruz a long-term, tons of money contract until he proves himself a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I would try to lock him up. Cruz, I think he's the real deal. He just hit the longest home run, maybe the hardest hit home run in so long. I would lock him up long term. All right, DP Rocca is in there. Appreciate you, man. Always first one in here. Appreciate the support. Listen, mine is kind of simple, Jim. I was the shortest first and 10 I think you've ever had in the history, brother. Wow.
That's because his phone battery's low.
Right. For sure. Listen, man, I want to talk about Travis Hunter. I've been on him for a while. He's done a lot of great things at the college level. Number 2 pick, signed a major deal. And I kind of think he might have really messed up. Hopefully it works. Let me not say that. I hope it works out for him. I really do. I hope it works out for him. But he recently got married over the weekend, and it's a great thing if it's serious. Claudio, you see how he's dancing? Was he dancing like you at your wedding, man? He's very happy, and hopefully it works out for him. But Shador was there after his shoot. He came. I think Shador could have put on another outfit, but it is what it is. He looks happy.
I think he was the 94th guest invited, I think, something like that, right?
Right. And here's at the wedding. Did you see this? He gave Lene a $200K Mercedes-Benz, as you see here. That's a kind of a nice gift to give on your bride on the wedding day, huh? What you think, Claudio? Look at that thing.
Well, again, what I said about Cruz, I said about investing in real estate. You just don't buy the building, you buy the land and the area around it. He's obviously very gifted athlete. Is he going to, if something, hopefully it works out for him. There's nothing better than having a good marriage, that's for sure, and a good family life. How many times have I said, and Jim has commented on my comment whenever I said my wife and daughter, they give me a clear head so I can do shows like this, so I can coach, so I can speak, so I can do whatever. If he has a clear head and things are good at home, because I don't care what anybody says, it's hard if things aren't good. And it's not just good at home, with your wife and kids, but are things good financially? Right. Are things good with your parents? How many times?
Here's the thing I was going to say. As you look at this, sometimes when somebody gives you a gift, the wife might run and come and jump in your arms. She's just like, oh, whatever. I'm just like, that's a $200K vehicle.
Yeah.
On the wedding, above everything else, and it's just like, whatever. So what?
There's
like you said, sports is 90% mental. Yes, you have to have the athletic ability, but if you're stressed out or things are happening, I hope it works out for him because he seems like a great young man. You never hear anything negative. He was just on a plane with an old lady. She didn't know who he was, and people kept coming up, and she said he was just the nicest young man. And I said, who are you? And he told me who he was. She said, I'm a fan for life of his and the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's such a terrific young man. Never met him.
I agree with you 1,000%. He seems like a nice young man, and I hope. But sometimes, I'm not saying her, but sometimes people may try to take advantage of that, and I hope not. I really hope it works out for him because he seems like a nice young man. He can be big time too on the field.
He can.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Luther.
Yeah.
Hey, Luther.
Oh gosh. How many times you gonna say it? A record? Go ahead, Jim.
I heard plenty of bad stuff about it, so
What-
praise God.
what-
I heard plenty of bad stuff about it.
What bad stuff you hear about Travis Hunter?
Got the earplugs in, 'cause I heard plenty, brother.
What you hear, Jim?
Hey, I ain't gonna repeat it all, but I heard plenty, brother. I heard plenty.
Well, I didn't hear any, Jim. I think you just
Well, you will.
see. That's what I'm saying.
Nice kid, but I heard plenty.
All right. Well, he's a nice kid. That's what we're saying, Jim. Yeah, I mean,
You said you never heard nothing bad about
I haven't, and you still haven't. You just said he's a nice kid.
I heard plenty bad.
Well, I haven't, Jim. You always got a jaded sense of humor.
Well, make a call down to Jackson State. You'll get some baggage from.
Right.
Get some baggage.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. Listen, blessings to the young man. Again, number to call 412-530-5063. You know, were you able to see the footage of that, Claudio?
You know what? I just see I saw him dancing, but on our show right now, I just see a picture of Jim.
Oh man, we got to get that off, man. I forgot I had that picture up. But yeah, I hope it works out, man. I mean, like I said, he's a terrific young man. And one thing that can ruin is a bad situation at home. So hopefully everything is good. They look happy, they're dancing, and everything's good. So we'll see what happens, man. I mean, it's a lot, man. But here's that vehicle I was talking about, Claudio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he went all the way out. It's a great vehicle. It's pretty amazing. So, but that's what it is, man. Jacksonville has a star. They're going to let him play mostly receiver and also cornerback. I think he could be big time. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but he has another huge contract, which I don't think he earned. But it is what it is, man. And again, give us a call if you get a chance. Let's jump into this TJ Watt situation. He wasn't at OTAs on Tuesday. Is that a big thing to you, Jim?
No, why would it be? He shouldn't be there anyway. Why would it be? Ain't many can. Listen, the guy is owed $42 million a year. When that $42 million comes in, he'll be at some of these volunteer workouts. But right now, he's still do like he's done in the past. He'll show up for training camp, mini camp, and we'll go through any of the drills that can get him hurt. No problem. You should have locked him up a long time ago.
Listen, I don't think I don't like the deal, man. At $40 million, I don't like these guys getting, as I said last year, I don't like these guys getting paid quarterback money. I don't think anybody earns that money if you're not playing the quarterback position. But it is what he didn't get that either. He didn't get that. He didn't get quarterback money either.
He was the highest paid defensive player in football when he played.
And TJ Watt has been the highest paid, but he wasn't getting quarterback money. These guys are getting quarterback money, $40 million a year.
What was Phil Simms getting back in 1981? Can you tell me?
Quarterbacks have always gotten the lion's share for years, Jim. This is not years ago, Jim. You're going back 40 years. Jim, you could go here. Listen, all the teams that are paying these guys $40 million for a defensive player will be in the bottom half of the league. You can't have that much money in a defensive lineman linebacker.
Hey, Luther, only recently has quarterbacks been the highest paid. Running backs has always been the highest paid.
Jim, running backs have been devalued for years, Jim. You going back.
Hey, Luther, there was a Facebook listing. I want to say it was 1982, and the highest paid player was Archie Manning, I think $810,000. Joe Ferguson, I was a fan of the Buffalo Bills because Chuck Knox was coaching them, I don't know how much he was making, but I believe he was the third highest paid. So the quarterbacks were starting to get paid. Bradshaw wasn't on that list, but I know for a fact that Manning was, and I should know who the rest of the list was, but I don't remember. But the quarterbacks were getting paid. But Luther, you made a great point. Yes, TJ Watt is the highest paid defensive player, but the quarterbacks are getting much, much more. You also made a great point last week about you broke it down that you're going to pay him that kind of money for perhaps 5 plays, not even 5 plays a game. I think that you cannot, and I said that story numerous times, I won't repeat it, on Shark Tank when there was a guy who gave a heartfelt story and wanted the Sharks to invest in it, and they all had tears in their eyes, and they said, we think you're a wonderful person and a wonderful young man, but we can have that product made elsewhere for cheaper. He said, no, it has to be made in Minnesota. And they all said, I'm out. And I learned something on that. They said, yes, they loved him. They thought he was a great guy, but they did not let emotions take over. Okay. TJ Watt is a permanent fixture. I don't want to say permanent, but he's a fixture. He's popular. He's had a Hall of Fame career. He's always in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. They have not won a playoff since he's been there. That's not all his fault. But I don't know if I give him $40 million. Let's say he earns it this year. He's going to earn a little less next year, and then the year after that, his numbers are going to go down. Meanwhile, the money stays up. I think. And Jason, one of your friends who called in last week, said a great word: core. You want to have a team, a core of linebackers, and spread that money around so you can improve the team. Build. That's the key word for me today, is build. I don't know if you're going to build a team, a great defensive team, with just that one guy with that kind of salary. I would not do it. I told you before, I would trade him for a lot of draft picks. It might not be popular at first, but if they draft somebody who's good, people will forget. People forget when Namath left the Jets. They didn't forget him, but they went on with Richard Todd. When Stabler left the Raiders, they moved on. When Eric Dickerson left the Rams, they moved on. That's life, and they'll move on without TJ Watt. Blue.
The Steelers ran poorly. Namath over the hill when he got traded by the Jets. He had bad knees. TJ Watt's still in his prime. He's still one of the top 5 defensive players in the world.
Jim, just take the L on this.
Pay the man. That's the market value, Lou.
Jim, the market value, that's 2 guys have gotten that so far. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, TJ Watt, and Micah Parsons are next in line. He's going to get the same. Yeah, the same thing. I don't know if Dallas is going to give it to him. They're already paying Dak $60. Yeah, that'd be a bad move. All right, Lee is in here. What's up, Lee? Dion didn't give no advice. Yes, he did. Travis, a big dumb Lee. She's going to take everything, even the Heisman. Dang, Lee. She's got a white Bronco. Lee's crazy. Who to go? No reason to pay TJ that money. He's done. Oh, of course, Lee. Tomlin's overpaid. All right. And Jose Diaz. What's up, Jose? But it won't be the same product by paying him too much. You're on point. I agree. He says, I have to go translate for Latin Zero for a Latin channel, but I'll be right back. Appreciate you coming in. Hey, we do have a caller on the line. Oh, is this Mark Brentley? Mark.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys. How's everybody?
Good, hey, Mark. How are you?
Calling in.
Good. Hey, listen, Claudio, I could not have said it any better than the TJ scenario that you mentioned. That's why I had to call you guys early, because I said I want to see and hear what they're talking about. Listen, I've never taken a snap on football, high school, or anything like that. But that's got to be a morale killer in the locker room, to have somebody standing beside you doing the same job, and you're walking around with $30 million a year. He might be at basic, you know what I mean? $5 million a year. And I just don't. I understand the business, but I just think at some point you gotta just close it off a little bit. So no, Claudia, I'm with you. I have a silly question for y'all to answer, and that is, will somebody tell an amateur like me, what does OTA mean, or the OTWs?
Jim, you've been quiet. Go ahead.
It's an optional practice. It's not required. You're not required to be there.
Is it optional training attendance?
No, it's organized team activity.
Organized team activity.
Organized team activities.
Okay.
But it's voluntary. So a lot of veterans don't go to that typically.
Can I make a comment on Mark's comment? Is Mark still there?
Yes.
Okay, you make a great point that nobody talks about, but when you said that about you're in the locker room next to somebody making 30-40 million and I'm making $5, Reggie Jackson, when they signed Dave Winfield in 1981, I believe it was, Reggie said, here I am, Reggie Jackson, who am Mr. October. I've come through in the regular season and the postseason, and that guy's making, I forgot, he made that huge salary. Reggie was upset about it, and it bothered him. Now, somebody might say, well, be a professional. Yeah, I get it. But also there's ego involved. And Mark, that's a great point. How is somebody going to handle that? And what happened? Reggie didn't have a great year that year, and he went to California and he continued his Hall of Fame career. But that's a great observation on your point, that somebody in that locker room, maybe not just another linebacker, maybe a quarterback, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe a running back, say, man, this guy's making 40. He's on the way down. I'm on the way up. That was a great comment. And I thought about Reggie and Dave Winfield.
Oh yeah, I don't understand it, but I tell you, it's got to be deep. But along that same line, can somebody tell me? And the name escapes me. The receiver we just got rid of. But
George Pickens. George Pickens.
Who?
George Pickens.
Yeah, but I heard them really burning the bread on him. That how bad of a distraction he was. I didn't see it, but does anybody know? Is that really true? Because something had to be there to let go the talent that man had. You know what I mean? And so, if his distractions and not being a team player was that bad that they said, man, we're willing to let you go. I don't know. Has anybody heard?
Yes. Yes, there's a lot of reports, and it's addition by subtraction. He was late to practice, late to games, arguing with teammates, not blocking, not running his routes. In fact, there's a play last year where he didn't run a route correctly, and it led to a Russell Wilson interception. It was things like that. They just got tired of it. He was too much of a distraction.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People saying that is the white media. Nothing came out. The Pittsburgh Steelers would have suspended a player if he did half the stuff the white media say that George Pickens.
Jim,
Let me finish. I guarantee you, in Dallas, he won't be a distraction. He'll be the number 2 receiver, and he'll go to the Pro Bowl, maybe the Hall of Fame. The Pittsburgh Steelers had an opportunity this year to have a player that's making hardly any money to team up with DK Metcalf and have 2 freaks out there. All this is coming out after he's been traded. He's never been suspended for a game. He's never been reprimanded. All this kind of stuff. He didn't show up late on Christmas. That's another lie. He was there 85 minutes before the game.
Jim, you're saying all that. Listen, he was a distraction. We could see it.
Where's your proof, Lou? Where's your proof?
We saw it during the game. We saw him not run patterns. We saw him not We saw him not go for a Hail Mary because he was fighting a guy. Jim, you keep pushing these fake narratives. We saw it. It was on display. He was snapping out at teammates during the game. He was arguing with teammates. He was arguing with fans, Jim.
You know what, Mark?
And guess what?
Mark,
he's Joe Green. He's not
Mark, something I say all the time to my team, to my family, okay? If we pull the same rope, the same time, the same direction for the same purpose, we will get a special result. You can't have, and I'm saying, you know what? I don't know if it bothered the players as much, any of the antics that Pickens or any player has more than the coach, okay? Because I guarantee you that the coach, every coach has had some bad apples. Every coach has had some players that don't like his system. Every coach has had players that want to challenge him, and that's hard. And I think Tomlin tried. There was talks about him inviting him over for Thanksgiving and talking to him. Obviously, it didn't work. Maybe no, he didn't suspend him. But maybe he wasn't the type that you do suspend, because if you suspend him, maybe you lose him for good. I do think Tomlin tried, okay? But there was reports that he argued with a coach and all that kind of stuff. But let's say those aren't true. But Luther, again, there's video of him not running routes, of him arguing. So that's enough right there. So I think that the team tried to wait till he matured. But there was other reports of him in college acting up. So things didn't change. Will he change in Dallas? Hopefully. But
hey, Claudio, and he has to change. Once you get traded, you're on your last year. He has to be on his best behavior. No one was willing to give up a second-round draft pick for him. So for him to get the type of money, he has to be on his best behavior, Mark. There's no way that he's going to act up. Otherwise, he'll never get the big money. So,
and Mark, let me say this, Mark.
Let me ask you a question, and then I'll hang up and listen to the response. Yeah. I'd like to hear the predictions for this year's Steelers. And with this holdout of Aaron Rodgers, and if he signs up for the last minute and walks on the field without practicing, could he be one of the first starting Steelers to walk on the field and be faced with boos? Everybody that I talk to, they are angry that he's holding the Steelers hostage while all of the other young quarterbacks are there, working out and so on. So, but I'll hang up and listen. And finally, Luther, we got to find something for that NFL draft to do. Even if we can invent a gasoline-powered turtleneck, battery-operated, Steel City emblem, and the four you guys can be down there, broadcasting live. Let's put some pencils to paper, man. You guys need to be down there. I just think it's so appropriate and once in a lifetime.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. Always appreciate your call, man. Check your email. I sent you something. Some exciting stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mark. He frees up a line. Make sure you give us a call, 412-530-5063. We had some comments come in. Frank Jackson, thanks for jumping in. Travis Slow, no prenup. He's a fool. Yeah, there was no prenup. And Dion told him to get one, and he just did his own thing. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope it works out for the young man. That's all I can say. Frank Jackson back. Jim, stop lying. He was a big distraction. I agree. Who to go? What's up, who to go? Back in there. I saw Pickens argue with a fan during the game. Get rid of that guy. Yeah, you can't have that, Jim. I'm very glad they got rid of him. I just wish they would have got another receiver in the draft. Although, according to reports, Roman Wilson has looked pretty impressive in OTAs, but that's not saying much. I do hope they sign another receiver like a Amari Cooper or a Keenan Allen. I think you need another veteran receiver. Also, DK Metcalf wasn't at OTAs, and Darius Slay wasn't there yesterday as well. So I don't know if you put much stock into that, Jim.
Mark asked for predictions. I don't know if you want to give them.
Go ahead, Claudia. You go first.
Well,
and then...
It's kind of, to be honest with you, it's kind of, and one thing about this show, none of us ride the fence, but I think it might be a little early to give a number because we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to come, who's going to be the starting quarterback. But with what they have, let's just say with Aaron Rodgers and or with Mason Rudolph, I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference. Aaron Rodgers still has it physically. But do they have the offensive line? Okay, I'll put it to you this way. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. They will definitely open things up more, but do they have the weapons? I think they do have. I know Luther isn't going to agree. They have the core wide receivers that he's going to have to hit a bunch of them. Number 2 by committee. I'll put it to you that way. Are they going to have the offensive line to protect him? Are they going to have the offensive line to help the back? That's my question. Now, if Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, they're going to be he's going to be a game manager, Mark, which means handoff, dunk and dink, handoff, throw, short passes. Do they have the offense for that? And again, it stems with the offensive line. You can have the nicest car, the car Travis Hunter bought for his wife. If it has lousy wheels, it ain't going to ride good. Okay, you have to have the foundation. And in the NFL, to me, I've always said the offensive line is everything. If the offensive line is good, it'll chain react.
Okay, all right. Listen, Jim. So, what was your record? What did you predict, Claudio? What was your record?
I'm gonna go with if Rodgers is there. I'm going to go with 9 or 10 wins. If Mason Rudolph, I'm going to go with 8. And that's not a big difference, but it is a playoff contention with Rodgers.
All right. Smoker Jim, your prediction as we look at Broderick Jones looking thinner and pretty fast out there at OTAs.
Well, first of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only professional team in Pittsburgh that's worth anything. Let's give Coach Tomlin a little credit there.
Okay.
The last 2 years, the Steelers had the worst offensive line in the history of the National Football League and still made the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs again no matter what the offensive line does. They'll be better than they were the last 2 years. This is a 10-win team, 11-win team, irregardless. Rudolph can do the job. Aaron Rodgers maybe can take them to the Super Bowl, but Mason Rudolph is more than he can throw that deep ball, man. Mason Rudolph won every award you can win in college.
Well, that was years ago.
But Luther, Jim is joining with the white media. Will Mason Rudolph be allowed to throw deep? That's the thing you get. Will they allow him to throw deep? Okay, and again, I'm not saying I don't know the numbers, and I was going to get the numbers, but I don't have them. And you can like in law, what do they call that when something happened before precedent? When Kurt Warner of the Seattle Seahawks got hurt in '84, okay, they had running back guy by committee: Dan Dornick, David Hughes, Franco, Cullen Bryant, and they would get 100 yards a game. They would, 110, 115. Yes, they threw more. Chuck had to change his offensive approach the next week, but he still had running back by committee. If the Steelers, they have Metcalf, he's the number 1, obviously. They don't have what you would call, I guess, a big, solid, potential Pro Bowl number 2. But number 2 by committee and throw them around. You spread. What I'd like to see wide receiver wise is have Metcalf with maybe 10 receptions. The other guy have maybe 6. Then a guy have 4. Then a guy have 4. Then a guy have 3. The running back have 5. Washington maybe have 5. Freiermuth have 6. Spread it around, and then you can have a number 2 by committee.
All right, let's jump into this. JMD, what's up? JMD says, I think they missed the playoffs this year. All right, we got Frank Jackson says offensive weapons are average at best. 7 wins with Mason, according to Frank Jackson. Who the GOATs is 10 wins. I kind of agree. I think they can have 10 wins, 10-7 again, if things work out a little bit. I don't see them winning the division. I think that's Baltimore's, and I think they'll be fighting with Cincinnati for that second place at 10 wins. But I think they can get in the playoffs and might be a one and done again. I just don't see the talent on the roster. Don't have a clear wide receiver 2. If Mason's the quarterback, I don't like it. If A-Rod's the quarterback, I don't like it. Neither one of them move the needle. Offensive line, I think, will be better. Defense, I think, will be better with Slay instead of Dante Jackson. Darius Slay still can play, just came off a Super Bowl win. I think Peyton Wilson is going to take that next jump to play at an all-pro level this year. So him and Queen should be better. I do like the 2 linemen, Yaya Black and Derek Harmon. I think that's an upgrade over Loudermilk and Benton. Hopefully they do the right thing and let these 2 rookies start. So I say 10 wins. Hey, we do have another caller. I think it's LD. LD, you on the line?
Yes, this is LD.
LD, what's going on?
LD.
I just wanted to say that about Pickens. I remember when he was in college, he got into a lot of trouble when he was in college also.
Right. Jim's making that up.
After the game.
Right. That's why he lasted so long. He had first-round talent because of his behavior. He dropped to where the Steelers got him later in the draft.
Yeah. And then when he was here, he would fight with his teammates and the fans.
Right.
You can't do that if you want to stay in pro football.
Absolutely.
Well, Jim he doesn't have cable. He just listens to things on the radio. He doesn't see what Luther and I and you see, LD.
Right.
But I don't know. I hope he makes it in Dallas, but I wonder because he seems like he needs to be the star, even though he's not the star.
Well, he's got the ability to do it. Again, it's not just the physicality of it. As I said earlier, you have to have the mentality. It's as simple as that. And maybe, hopefully, he will grow. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom. Not that he's hit rock bottom, but sometimes we have to have an event that changes us. And hopefully that's it for him. He certainly has the talent. There's no question about that.
Go ahead, Jim. What'd you say?
Yes.
Nothing he did in college dropped him in the draft. What dropped him in the draft is his last year. He missed the season with a torn ACL. That's the only reason he was a second-round draft pick.
No,
listen, this guy will not be a problem with the Dallas Cowboys. He wasn't a problem with the Pittsburgh.
Yes, he was.
The last 2 years, he had 1,000 yards. This guy made some of the freakiest catches you ever want to see and was making no money. Luther's been saying on the show the Steelers be the second wide receiver when they needed one last year and they just got rid of George Pickens. You can't justify that.
Yeah, you can, Jim. First of all, you're wrong. He only had one season where he got over 1,000 yards. That was 2023. Last year he had 900 yards, and his rookie year he had 800. Jim, and one of them was punishment. Jim, I mean, listen, he didn't get over 1,000. Jim, just stop spreading those fake news. He did not have 1,000 yards. You know, that's like you're acting like the president right now. He only had 1,000 yards in 2023. Oh my goodness, Jim. You could say white meat or whatever. The point is, numbers don't lie. You do. He didn't have 1,000 yards, and he's better gone. And he wouldn't have been a viable number 2 option because he would be upset because DK was getting more of the passes. Listen, one, they have a better quarterback. Dak is going to throw that ball a lot more than the Steelers. And 2, he has to because this is his last chance. It's either you sink or swim. Huh? No, Jim, listen. He would have been a distraction. He already burnt too many bridges here. He had veteran players, veteran leadership, such as Cam Hayward, such as TJ Watt, that did not want him here, Jim. It was really sounding like an I love Oreo cookies, Jim. I love Oreo cookies. Jim, facts are facts. You can keep all this fake news and all these lies, but the facts are the players let him going. His behavior sent him going. LD, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the other thing he used to do, sometimes he wouldn't run the pattern completely. He'd just stop on the pattern. I don't like that. I mean, you run your pattern on that level all the time if you possibly can.
LD, do you think that he lacked professionalism?
I'd have to agree with that, yes. Yeah. And he's selfish, too. He's selfish. He thinks about himself. He has to be number one.
Yeah.
And
Walter Payton, arguably the greatest running back of all time, was also a great blocker, great receiver, threw the ball. He was a professional, but he blocked. Okay, he was a hell of a blocker. My point is, he was a professional. He didn't just say, I want the ball 30 times a game, both as a back and out of the backfield. He did what he was told, what he was asked to do. Pickens, again, wonderful physical talent, no doubt about that. Maybe has the most physical talent of any receiver in the league, maybe. Okay, but you have to have the head and the heart to come along with you.
That's true. That's true. Hey, LD first.
One thing I want to add, Big Ben today at a news conference he was at said it's time to forget about Rodgers. Do you guys agree?
I said that months ago. Waiting for a 41-year-old like this, it's better just develop. Really, I would just see what Will Howard has. You know, they're in a rebuilding mode, whether they want to admit it or not. I'd see if you have something with Will Howard. He's coming off a championship. I'd roll with him. Mason, you already know he's not good. He's not good. They can say whatever they want at this training camp. He's not the answer. Will Howard is a rookie, strong arm, big, more athletic than you think. I would give him a shot. I know there's rumors about trading for Kirk Cousins. I don't like that option either.
No, I'm with Luther 1,000%. Everything he said, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is just showing an attitude, and he's coming in to the locker room already with some red flags, and people aren't going to like it. And me as a coach, I'm putting myself in as a coach. I wouldn't like it. He should be there. He should have signed already. And he should be at the OTAs. If he was a 13-year veteran with the same team, okay. But I think it would look better optics if he was there. I'd say move on. I agree with everything Luther said. I start Howard.
Yeah. Hey, LD, real quick before you go, what do you think about the NBA playoffs?
Well, I think that Oklahoma City, I think, will win it all. But if they play Indianapolis, that'll be a heck of a series because they both run the ball up and down the floor, and both teams can shoot, and both teams play defense.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of young stars.
Oklahoma City would probably win it.
Yeah, I think OKC, we're looking at the start of a dynasty. They're young. They have all their guys under contract. SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 30 points a game. He looks like a young Kobe, a young Jordan at a two-guard position. 6'6", make all the shots. He plays defense. I think the league is in trouble. Clippers may make that. What'd you say?
I heard their point guard talk last night, and he was talking about a dynasty. And I said to myself, young man, don't talk about a dynasty. You got to win the first one first.
That's correct.
Yeah. What you talking about? Who? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that, but yeah, you got to win that first one. That's always the hardest one.
It's the hardest one. But I like the way they play. They play D. They can shoot. Everyone hustles. They don't have a Pickens on their team.
Right. Even when they do interviews, all of them, it may be SGA or Jalen Williams, they all come and they're at the interview with them. I mean, that team is locked in. Like you said,
Hey,
unlike Pickens.
Luther, something that just hit me that LD said, and Jim said this didn't happen, this didn't happen. How about Pickens on Monday Night Football, the stuff he wore on the eye black, the swear words?
Oh, yeah.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, I mean, he just did everything. Everything he did was, out of pocket. So I'm glad he's going. I really am.
Some people need attention, and they try to get it any way they can.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely, LD. LD, it's always a pleasure, man. Do we have another call?
Okay, all right. See you guys.
LD,
appreciate you. Let's jump to these phone calls. We have L Dub, appreciate you. Frank Jackson Pickens will be on his best behavior. All right, Robert Thomas. What's up, Robert? I would have never trusted Rodgers in the first place. That's a great point. Rodgers has a history of, you're waiting for him to sign, and he's on Pat McAfee, then he's in a dark cave somewhere. JMD OKC up by 30 right now. Wow, they're to the T-Wolves. What's up, brother? Hey, what's up, Robert? A long way to go. Yeah, it's a long way to go, man. But
hey, Luke, do you think the NBA was – I said, I like Minnesota because Alex Rodriguez. I've always been a Knick fan, always. I thought – I think they're going to win another game, but I think Indiana's going to win that.
Yeah.
But do you think the NBA wanted the Knicks to be at least in the finals?
Of course. That's a big market. If you can get the Knicks in there, that's more eyeballs. But, once again, Tom Thibodeau is running these guys into the ground. They're breaking down. And Indiana's playing out their mind. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, they had a vote. They said the player said he was the most overrated. He's been on a tier ever since. He just dropped the triple-double with no turnovers, the first time in NBA history. So, if it is Indiana, OKC, two small markets, but both young teams, both play an exciting brand, and I'm excited for it, man. I'm not, I don't know about the dress code that Halliburton has sometimes, but that's what they do now. But sticking to the basketball, reports are coming out that this will be LeBron James' last season, this upcoming season. So he'll get his farewell tour. Definitely sad to see, but passing of the guard, he's leaving, and soon it'll be KD and Steph Curry. That's why I was so glad to see all those guys team up for the Olympic team not too long ago. But once again, Timberwolves, shot a lot of bricks last game and this one as well. Like they were working at Home Depot, man. Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle didn't show up 2 games in a row, man. It's a embarrassing performance. Also, another thing, Angel Reese took a lot of heat. She's been struggling, but she's also the fastest player to 500 points and 500 rebounds in 38 games. WNBA record. Caitlin Clark is out with some injuries. Hopefully she gets back. And where's Sean at? Where's Sean at? Because Shador Sanders in OTAs went 7 out of 9 for 3 touchdowns. I still say it was, they did him wrong. He had all the talent to be in the first round. Cost that man $40 million, but I think he can get it all back off the field with his endorsements. But the man could play. That's all I want to see is him on the field. Jim, any last thoughts? Oh, last thing. The ESPN gave out with their 300 top high school players, and we had a couple from this area. From McKeesport, your favorite area, Jim. Keemon Spell is the number 10 out of 300 nationwide. Khalil Taylor, number 64. Central Catholic Jimmy Callis, 215. Gabe Jenkins, a guy that we've awarded, he's 239. A couple other guys, Penn Hills, Carter is number 243. So it's a lot of top talent out here. Jim, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me first of all say we haven't talked to NBA at all season long. Well, I'm not a fan. I'm a journalist, and I think I speak for everybody when I say I can't wait till the NBA season is over. But hey, I've said for years, and you disagree with me, Luther, that Pitt could come up with the talent in Western Pennsylvania. It's still one of the best hotbeds for talent around. They've got the wrong coach in there at the University of Pittsburgh. They don't know how to recruit locally, and those numbers speak for itself. The kid for Marty Christian Academy is unbelievable.
Yeah, Gabe Jake Weaver.
I think he's the fastest on the team. I've said that before. I know you disagree, but I can't believe anybody can outrun him.
Well, listen, he's very fast, but I've seen David Davis, and they're both very fast. I like to see that race. Maybe I'll go to practice and see. I'll ask each of them who's the fastest. But there's some fast players on that team, but I'm excited this year. Amani.
Hey, Luther, Amani, what are they? Are they A, 6A?
They're still playing Triple A. They're still playing Triple A.
They're still playing.
They're
staying away from Fort Cherry. Westinghouse ought to take that note. Stay away from Fort Cherry. Fort Cherry's a dynasty. That's the true dynasty.
Fort Cherry's in single A, and I guarantee you that Westinghouse beats them. I mean, Clareton beats them this year in single A.
Well, they didn't beat them last year. Yeah.
It came down to the wire, Jim. Unlike you, I was at the game. It came down to the wire. And Fort Cherry, they made some great plays. They have a great player going to Penn State. But this year, I think Clareton gets them.
Penn State player will be back.
Yes. But the quarterback for Clareton was hurt last year, and he'll be back. So.
Hey, one thing. Hey, the former quarterback for Clareton died over the weekend or this past week. I remember him. He was a good player. Did you see that, Lou?
I saw that, man. Prayers to his family. He was shot in the Clareton area. Man, it's a sad thing, man. We have to do something to get these, keep these guys off the street and in college and doing things on that level. But it definitely was a sad thing. No, Jim, all right, Jim. Listen, we're going to be at Clareton a lot because they have the new Tyler Boyd field, who's been on our show. New field, great turf, great environment. I just wish it could be the Clareton Duquesne days of old. Those were some great games. But any final thoughts?
They renamed the field number 4 option, Tyler Boyd.
Hey, listen, what do you think about Tyler Boyd back in Pittsburgh? They need a number 2 receiver. What are your thoughts?
We don't need a guy over the hill that they renamed the dirt field after him. They even got turf out there.
Jim, he's a legend. He has one of the greatest college high school careers ever.
Don't need that.
They just need a veteran receiver until Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin can get further developed. That's what I see.
Okay.
But any final thoughts, Jim, Claudio, as we wrap up? Thanks for all the calls.
I think that'd be a great pickup for the Steelers to get Boyd. And what Jim said makes a lot of sense. I know when I was growing up watching Pitt, you had guys from Penn Hills, Beaver Falls, Aliquippa, Oakland, and you were attracted to that. And I think if you can get that back, guys from this area will be fans of Pitt and want to go play for them. But I think they need the right coach or the right they need the right coach. The coach is very important. Why, like in basketball, why is St. John's? Why were they going there? Because of Patino, Arkansas, Calipari, so on and so forth. I think it'd be good to and Jim hit it again. He needs to recruit locally better.
Okay. I agree. And Frank Jackson's Pitt doesn't pay enough NIL. Well, that's true. They're going to have to pay a little NIL money to get there, man. So we'll see. I'm disappointed in Narduzzi. I think he could have done a better job of getting some local talent. And then when he does, he lets them get away. I think they could have done a better job with Duggar. Hopefully it works out for him at Washington State, which is where Cam Ward went. So we'll see. Maybe he can follow the same pattern. You know what I'm saying, Jim? Any final thoughts, Jim?
Yeah. Cam Ward will be an NFL bust. You write it down, I guarantee it. Another bust, of course, is the Steelers Ziggy Hood, the first round choice.
Oh,
You know, Derek Harmon. So
you called him Ziggy Hood?
You want him in the starting lineup. You want Ziggy. You want Ziggy in the starting lineup. Better watch what you ask for, because you just might get it.
Listen, he's a big guy. We can get him to stop the run. I think he's a better option than Benton and Loudermilk.
You don't draft the guy 21st in the first round just to stop the run. You need 10 sacks from that guy, and he ain't had.
He's not Aaron Donald. Come on now. I think he can have 4 sacks, 4 or 5 sacks.
He was the 21st pick overall. Come on, Lou. T.J. Watt was 32. Cam Hayward was like 30. He's 21st, and you're talking 4 sacks? Come on, man.
He's a rookie, Jim. He's a rookie. You expect him to have more than 4 or 5 sacks his rookie year?
Yes.
Okay.
I expect him.
And over the years, how many defensive interior? Come on, man. Ziggy Hood is that's disgraceful, man. There's no way. I disagree. I think it'll be a solid pick if we get 5 sacks. Oh man, Jim, come on. I think he has extra motivation. You know, as I told you before, him and Cameron Hayward can connect on that. They both lost parents at a young age, and I think he's going to be motivated to really succeed. So, hey, I want to thank all the callers for Smoking Jim, Claudio. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you check out the website, scsportsworld.com. We'll check you out next time. Peace.